Hi flyers, welcome to the Racing Pigeon Training and Conditioning series. Let's jump right in, with part 1. When you research how to train pigeons, you will find 101 methods. There is no one perfect way to train your birds. Explore as many materials as you can and find a system that works for you. The one right way will surely be whatever the winning method is for you, your schedule, the type of family of birds you are flying and what type of distances you are specializing. The method outlined here is what I call the confidence method. It's all about developing birds with confidence and working them out at the distance until they are ready to start the races. I traditionally am not a huge young bird racer. I fly a few races but prefer to continue to train young birds as my main goal is long-distance races in the old bird season. You will find this training series broken down into a few videos outlining various aspects. After the last few years, however, I have begun to change my perspective on the subject of young bird racing. Here in the Midwest we have had several tough young bird seasons in a row. It's tough to see a large team wiped out to a small flock in just the first few weeks of the season. Here we never know what kind of race we are going to have. A headwind on a very hot day but with high winds can very quickly weed out all but the strongest birds. If it's a super strong tailwind, birds that break in time do well, and those that don't, most likely will find themselves in South or North Dakota. So why would I change my mind about young bird racing, after seeing my fellow club members fly tough season after tough season? That answer is very simple. Economics. From the day a breeding pair is put together, the youngsters is hatched, banded, reared, weaned, trained and eventually raced. We are investing quite a bit of money in them. When they are not flown in young bird season, there are many that would have not fared well in young birds, but are allowed to remain until yearling season. During that year, they are fed, given a top-notch health regimen and eventually sent between 100 to 300 miles only to discover they do not have what it takes to place in the top point-winning positions or they simply are lost. Yes, I still believe very good birds are lost in young bird season, but with gasoline, medication, feed and every other expense skyrocketing. With our current economy, which one makes more sense? A matter of economics determines that a tough young bird season will allow you to spend valuable resources maintaining eventual yearlings that deserve to have the funds spent on them. From the beginning, you have to crawl before you can walk. Your young birds are at 21 to 30 days and out of the nest. They should be in their own compartment where they are beginning to learn social behavior with their fellow flock mates. Very shortly their training will begin. When we discuss training, we are including training to the trap or entrance, to the loft, training to come to your call, loft flying, learning where to perch and not perch, like your neighbor's house, and finally road training. When you feed your birds you should whistle or call to them. Whatever method you choose, it should be something that another member of your family can do as well. The birds will associate this whistle with being fed. Do this every time, every day, all year with all your birds. This will pay big rewards on race day. It will also allow you to get that spooked pigeon down. Roof training. Be home before the street lights come on. You can let them go outside on their own without the Sputnik cage. The birds will stay on the roof as long as they are not getting too strong on the wing. They will peck at everything as though it's fascinating. Like toddlers, this whole new world is new for them. As stated, do not let them out on a full stomach. After the designated time, call them in for dinner. Do not put the full amount of feed in the feeder, as some of the birds may not come in and the first ones to the feeder may eat too much. The important thing is to get them trained to come in when called. There are two purposes for this: one is to get them in quickly upon arrival from a race and the other is to get them disciplined to come in when you need them, such as when you want to train in the morning and then have an evening training toss. You accomplish this by keeping an edge to their appetite and feeding them on a regular schedule. They adapt to a routine fairly quickly, and if you deviate from this routine, they will very quickly let you know it. If they are out and you miss the regular feeding, they will come find you. Consistency in a routine is a staple towards good pigeon handling. If you have been feeding the birds properly, they will immediately try to get into the trap and get inside to eat. Some may be confused and walk to the edge of the roof where the walk-in door is located. Like children, they are processing their world in the same way. Be patient. You may even have one or two stay out overnight. After a few days of this, all young birds will know how to get inside the loft and trap. If they're being fed properly, they will not mess around unless they get spooked. Spooking is a term used to explain when a young bird becomes nervous, anxious, or scared. They can get spooked when they see a large bird they are not familiar with, such as a hawk, crane, or a large black bird. They can get spooked over a loud noise such as gunfire, an exhaust misfiring, a car door slamming. When they are spooked, something minor can cause them to go airborne. Be patient. Any bird with intelligence will settle down and come back to the roof. It may take hours, but it will happen. Sitting out overnight. Occasionally you will get young birds that will set out overnight. If you live in the city, this will not be very bad. The next morning let the birds out again, and usually the overnight offender who spent the night on the roof or in the tree in the dark, scared and without dinner, will come inside with the other birds when dinner the following evening is fed. If you live in the country, like I do, sometimes that one overnight stay out is fatal. We have owls, and without all the buildings and other clutter, the pigeons are very easy pickings for the owls. Owls do not hunt by sight but hunt by hearing. They have extremely fine hearing. One method to thwart an owl is to place a small radio outside the loft and let music play at a modest volume. Do not set the radio out until it is absolutely dark. The bird on the roof will then not fly up, and the owl will have a more difficult time hearing your bird and therefore preying upon him. Night flight. This has never happened to me, but it happened to one of our members recently. It has also happened to my father and other fanciers in my club. A night flight is when the birds get spooked just before dark and all go airborne. The birds will fly around in the dark endlessly. The danger is that they will hit walls, wires, trees, and other hazards. This member of our club gives his birds open loft. He calls them in to eat, lets them still have open loft so that they will fly around even after dinner. The birds get more flying time, but on one evening, a hawk hit his loft just before dark, sending the entire young bird flock into a night flight. The next morning more than half the birds did not return, and some of those that did had career-ending injuries. One bird came back with the top portion of its beak missing. I am not a fan of open loft until dark. I hope you never have a night flight, and I hope I never have a night flight. But be forewarned, do not create habits that allow for the possibility of a night flight. Also, understand that hawks love pigeons. Hawks will catch on to the fact that a ready meal is available. If you have open loft and a hawk catches on, he will stop hunting other prey and make your loft his prime target. In these first days on the roof is the most entertaining time to watch the pigeons. It is also the time to pull out your hair or learn patience. The bird will first flap their wings and sort of hover in short burst. Then they will fly off the roof and make small little circles and land again. After a while they will start to fly for short times. Eventually this will lengthen to longer periods of flight. This is the most entertaining time to watch your birds. As they start to fly around the loft at first as a group of individuals, and later they will start to group up in a flock. At times they will do crazy things. There will be mid-air collisions as the flock makes turns to attempts to avoid objects. There will be crazy dives when you swear they are going to hit things. Yes, sometimes they will hit things. Don't worry, this part is taken care of as they will learn to fly as a flock and get control of that huge natural engine Mother Nature gave them. That's it for part 1 of Racing Pigeon Training and Conditioning series. Check out for part 2, coming out soon. We will be diving deeper into the art of training and conditioning. We will be covering the different training systems, types of tossing and so on. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Your free race card template and training session template are below this video. Thank you.